Can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the companies money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
And I'm D. White.
Today on the new party, we're going to be discussing the potential looming shutdown as talks for a settlement and an agreement with the eastern border North American longshoremen have been stalled. As of October 1st, if they do not come to an agreement, mass shortages are anticipated. That first clip that we played was from a union president for the one of the northeastern states, and he's pretty much explaining to you, we are important. If you don't come to an agreement with us, cars will not be coming in to be sold. Essential products will not be coming in. So everyone understands, I would say over 70% of the products that you see in this country are brought in from boats, and people don't realize that. They're brought in internationally from those big old container boats that you may have seen. Here in Florida, we have 3 ports: the Port of Tampa, the Port of Miami, and the Port of Jacksonville. I predict us, Hawaii, Alaska, places like that are at the surrounded by water, we're going to be most impacted. D, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think people realize the importance of most essential workers. Those guys are really essential workers. You know, they have the power to literally shut down America. The 2 people who you don't want to piss off in this world are the longshoremen unions and the truckers, because everything arrives to America on a ship and everything's transported from the ship to the store on the back of a truck. So they hold a lot of bargaining power here. I mean, I don't actually think that they want to shut the country down, but they also don't want to be replaced by automation, and they also want to be paid a fair salary, because the people who own the shipyards have increased profits exponentially since COVID, and they haven't got anything out of it. So that's my thoughts about it. What about you, Gray?
I think you brought up a great point about automation, because what we're looking at with vehicles is that now they try to have vehicles drive themselves. So I understand why workers, especially union workers, would try to gain more stuff. And especially we saw, I don't know if it was this year or last year, when UPS workers got a massive raise because they went on strike. And Joe Biden was out there with people, the UAW, for the vehicle strike. So a lot of union stuff is happening. Do I think that this is going to necessarily benefit them? I think this probably put a fire under the people that own these companies that say, yeah, we definitely about to replace them. They probably on the phone with Elon Musk right now, like, hey, get us a ship that can drive itself. We done with them. What about you, Nora?
Well, I would hope not. These are people. So let me play another clip that does an explanation of what they're fighting for and what's going on.
Shipping ports along the East Coast. Thousands are set to hit the picket line this Tuesday. The International Longshoremen's Association ordering a strike after talks demanding fairer wages hit a standstill. News Nation's Caitlin Becker joins us live from Port Elizabeth, New Jersey. Caitlin, what are we learning here? Major developments since the last time we spoke?
Yeah, truly, Jesse. I was not expecting to hear this today. We're 36 hours before the deadline, and the ILA sent out a communication announcing that they're absolutely going to strike. They're going to walk off the job when their current contract expires. Now, it's a 6-year contract. Each of these contracts are 6 years, and the expiration date is midnight on Monday. So 12:01 Tuesday, these workers are going to walk off the job. There's going to be a full-on work stoppage up and down the East Coast and parts of the Gulf. Now, the ILA has not released any details specifically about exactly where these picket lines are going to be. They said that's going to come likely sometime tomorrow. However, they did note what the major issue was, and it really came down, Jesse, to wage stagnation. They said that the U.S. Maritime Alliance, that is who they're in talks with, or were in talks with, just wouldn't come to an agreement about what they called wage subjugation that they said had been happening for years. Now, I have to tell you that from the U.S. MX perspectives, they have said time and again that they were offering industry-leading wages more than the 32%, which was the last hike that their West Coast counterparts got for their contract last year. But the ILA wanted a 77% wage hike, and they just couldn't come to an agreement. Now, these two groups haven't been at the negotiating table for months. These talks stalled back in June. So this is something, kind of an eventuality that we were all expecting. And the ILA president has said in the past that they've been planning for this for a year. So the impacts could be far ranging, though, Jesse.
Can we talk about that? Because what we're referring to, just to make it clear for our audience, is essentially the entire East Coast. What is the impact on customers come Tuesday?
Could be pretty large. Probably Tuesday itself, we won't feel it, but the ripple effect, according to retail experts, are things that we could certainly feel. And you said pretty much the entire East Coast, and I actually want to read you the list of the 14 ports that are going to be impacted. They're, of course, the port of New York and New Jersey, which is where I'm at right now, as well as the ports of Boston, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Norfolk, Wilmington, Charleston, Savannah, Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, Mobile, New Orleans, and Houston. That's a massive, massive number of huge, huge cities. And every single good you can think of flows in and out of these ports. So as I said, the ripple effect could be pretty large. We could be seeing increases in shipping costs, delays in shipments, this backlog that that's gonna sit untouched, not being able to be loaded and unloaded, because that's specifically what we're talking about here, the loading and the unloading of these shipping containers. And one of the things that the union had a problem with was the thought that their jobs could be automated in the future. I think we're hearing that in a lot of different industries, and that's, of course, a sticking point here as well. Now, full automation is off the table. There is a current ban for that already, and the USMX said they're going to keep that. However, they wanted to negotiate semi-automation, and these big cranes that you see behind me at this port, those are things that could potentially be semi-automated or fully automated, and that means these workers could potentially lose their jobs in the future. So in addition to, of course, all of these shipping issues and the ripple effect that could have with commerce as we ramp into the holiday season, all these people are going to.
So my prediction is I'm going to start telling my kids Santa Claus is not coming. These are going to mean high prices and shortages on goods such as toys, essential items. But for the holiday season, I predict it's going to be a big impact. And also, a question that he brought up, just so everyone's familiar, he talked about that 80-day cooling off period. So the big question we should all be asking as we have an upcoming election looming is, can the government intervene? If a strike were deemed a danger to U.S. economic health, President Joe Biden could, under the 1947 Taft-Hartley Act, seek a court order for an 80 cooling off period. However, someone asked President Biden during an exchange with the reporters on Sunday, and he said no when asked if he planned to intervene. He said because it's collective bargaining, and I don't believe in Taft-Hartley. So, what are our predictions once this happens, and how is this going to affect the election? Gray, I'll let you go first.
Well, I actually was reading an article, and like people thought that when you put, and I'm pretty sure both of y'all have seen this, when you go to McDonald's where they have those screens that you order your own order, they thought that this was gonna like cause a bunch of McDonald's employees to be laid off, but it actually did the opposite because people are more likely to order more food when they actually touch the screen, and they needed more employees to help people to actually know how to work the screen. So I think a lot of people are afraid of technology, and I understand. I know crane operators make over $100,000 a year. You're gonna be out of a job, and then you may be having to say, "Hello, may I take your order?" So I understand where these people are coming from, but at the same time, we can't fear automation and try to hold a company and not never want them to upgrade because they invested in new technology. I mean, like you said, these are people, but how much control should the worker really have over the company? And I think this is why a lot of people hate unions. And I know over the weekend, Trump said he don't even want people to get overtime.
Ray, I'm
So,
not. Well, you people hate unions. Coming from the Democrat, you should love unions. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is it Freaky Friday? Like
I said
coming
people,
from
not me.
you.
Listen, I'm talking about business owners hate unions because of reasons like this. Like, if it would have been unfair treatment or hostile work conditions, I think, a lot of people had a lot more emotional impact. But to actually say, hey, we're going to be replaced by AI and this is upsetting us.
Do you know how hard of a job they have? And fun fact for people that don't know, they have so many protections because of the hard job that they have. And when they get hurt, they have a high likelihood of death in their jobs.
Correct.
It's a very dangerous job that these fellas have working out on the waters.
So you would say that automation would probably make it safer, right?
Say that again.
No,
Uh,
yeah, it would be safer because there'll be less people there. There'll be less people. They're gonna
I
lose their
don't think
jobs.
automation
And
makes it better.
they're
We
not
have a
gonna be able
more
to feed their
likelihood.
family.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
have a more
safer.
likelihood of being hacked. If we automate it, we could be hacked. I don't think we should go to automation.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with Mr. Gray. I think that that's the whole reason for unions is to protect their workers, and this is going to be a lot bigger than most people think. Hopefully, that I believe that they will sometime in the very near future, very near, reach an agreement because I mean this could be devastating. The U.S. is scheduled to lose $5 billion a day that there's a strike on the port. $5 billion a day. Um, there CSX, the train company, the largest train company in America, has already stopped have has already refused to take any refrigerated shipments. I mean, any of those containers that's refrigerated with food on them, CSX will not let you put them on their train. They're not delivering them to anywhere because they won't unload them. So if they're not going to unload them, CSX doesn't want to be stuck with it and held liable for all the food spoiling and going bad. That's going to happen. That's going to be immediately felt in all the grocery stores because they're not transporting food anymore. Then you gotta remember these are people, man. People with jobs who've been doing this for years. Some of them might be second, third generation longshoremen. I have a few longshoremen in my family. This is they went to school, they did this, they got their licensing to for a career to support their family. But when you guys are when not you guys, but when they're trying to automate it to save a couple of dollars, I don't think that's fair to the workers because there will be mass layoffs. There will be. The crane operators. I was a crane operator for 3 years of my life, and I made good money. I liked it, but those guys who work for the union make way more than I did. So you're just gonna kick a person out who's been doing this for 15 years and tell them go find something new to do. I don't think that's right and or fair. And I mean these guys are just asking for a fair wage and they're asking they want a promise to not be automated. And I don't think that the company is going to give them that promise. So I really don't know what's going to happen. I hope they come to an agreement, but I don't really know what's going to happen.
I think that in the next 40 years, you're going to see a whole lot of jobs replaced by AI. And I give y'all one that y'all probably wouldn't expect. They're actually talking about replacing judges with AI because there's a lot of malpractice and a lot of people that go to prison that are innocent. So they're even talking about changing civil workers and using robots for that. And like with apps like Chat GPT, I use Chat GPT all the time, especially for this show. And so a lot of stuff is being replaced by AI. And I think transportation is probably going to be one of the massive ones that's changed due to what Elon Musk has done with Tesla.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you on that because a robot would be or an artificial intelligence would be a lot more less biased, and so one person wouldn't get 5 years for a crime and another person get 35 years for a crime. So I agree
Right.
with that.
Right.
So Another thing that I want to commend, Gray, he brought up a really good point with the McDonald's and the concerns with that. But we all know my argument to that, I have two things to say. My argument to that, firstly, is about when you go to Target and Walmart, now that they have those self checks, I miss the cashiers. Those lines are way longer now
Yes.
than before. So that's my counter argument. Also, secondly, I'm going on a cruise. I'm so excited at the end of the year. And so I had to look up and see, will this impact it? They said ILA longshore workers will continue to work passenger cruise vessels at all ILA ports, not inconvenience the tens of the thousands of Americans who have paid for trips in advance. So it's interesting. Um, they also said that the cruise industry was deeply impacted, so they don't want to add to it. So they will still be working the ports, but they won't be working the freight. So that, I mean, D, why do you think that is? Why do you think that they're
It,
willing to do that?
it it's because their fight isn't with the American people. It's not with you. It's not with you going to go on a cruise. It's not. They want you to go have fun. They don't mind that. It's with these companies who are making record profits after COVID, and they haven't shared any of it with their workers. And then the fact that you're going to automate me away. I can't help you fund fund this experiment to get rid of me. There's no sane person in the world who would do that. And they're taking a strike now while they still have leverage before it happens. Because once the robots get here, damn you, sir, we don't care about you. If you want to leave, leave. So what? You know, we got a robot who does 10 of you guys' job for a fraction of the price, and he doesn't take lunch breaks or any sick days.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
so
Yo,
they
but
have to
those
put.
machines, let me tell you, I used to work at Walmart and I was a manager. Those machines be breaking all the time. Remember, Gray? So I
yeah. But
don't know.
I actually want to bring something up because I got a Sam's Club membership, right? And I went in Sam's Club, and it's a robot that rides around and cleans the floor. And like if you like try to like go across it, it'll stop and it'll say like "Sorry, sir." So I mean, like this is a great conversation. Like I mean, but I don't think we're gonna be able to stop automation. Like what Nora just said, the grocery store, right? Whole Foods actually has like a camera system, I think, and you have a wristband. You just grab, right, and then you just grab the stuff and you walk out the door. So
Mhm.
like, I think a lot of jobs gonna be replaced. I don't know if any of us will be able to stop it, but that brings a good question. Do y'all feel like every citizen should get a universal allowance, like $2,000 a month, because so many jobs are gonna be replaced?
Inflation will spiral out of control, man. It cannot work. Socialism does not work. Everywhere on the planet where we've ever tried it, it has failed, and this would be no exception. It would just fail in a grand scheme, a grand design this time. We're going to give the money to everybody, inflating the money supply by God knows how much every year, and that all the dollars that you have saved in the bank will become worthless over time.
So what's the solution to automation? If because automation is gonna take a lot of jobs. I mean, it's just like I think then Netflix or no the writers the writers guild they went on strike because
Yes,
yeah remember that they went on
yes,
strike
for the
because of
same
these
Chat
thing.
GPT. Chat
yeah
GPT can write the scripts.
yeah
Yeah, could write
exactly that's what I'm
movies.
saying. So
Yeah.
like people gonna keep losing jobs every time these engineers these coders what's that company Boston Dynamics do you see what they robots do like
Yes.
it's
Yeah, they
crazy
do. They
you know
do
what I'm saying
parkour. I've seen it. I mean, but
yeah.
this is something that the American people should have a say in. We should have a say about this. No one should
Sure.
be able to come out with just this is more than game changing technology because there's not an industry that can't be affected by artificial intelligence. There's no
Mhm.
job on the planet that's safe. And then what do people do? We just all sit home and get $2,000 checks now. That's just what we do.
right,
That-
right,
that-
right.
Two
that's,
thousand dollars can't even pay my mortgage.
no.
So, are y'all afraid of the Terminator movie happening?
Yeah, that's man. It's coming. I've seen. I
Mhm.
seen. Listen, I've seen the
Yeah,
person. This is a true story, not made up. I know it's a little off topic, but we're still talking about AI.
yeah,
You ever seen those Boston Dynamic dogs? They call Spot, the little dogs.
yeah, yeah.
A guy put a pew pew on the back of one and could remotely fire it.
Right,
Yes.
They
right, right.
yeah, they gave him. They told him if he takes the video down and gives them that dog back, they'll ship him two more if he promises not to do it. And he did. He took the pew pew off of it, gave it back to them, and they gave him two free ones. Like, hey man, just take these and please don't put stuff like that online. You know, because it's terrible for their brand. Even though that they didn't do it, It's
Yeah.
terrible for their brand. The robots can be used in any way that any coder can design it. Even though you
True.
wasn't, even though you didn't intend it to do this kind of stuff, if
True.
once I buy it, I can change it and reprogram it and do whatever I want with it. And I mean,
Well, my
we're
biggest concern is the hackers. Like
yes,
the more the and you know that was a rumor. Remember that ship that didn't stop in time and hit the bridge in Maryland?
yeah, yeah.
That was a rumor, conspiracy rumor. I don't know say I believe it. I'm just telling you what they said. That allegedly that the bridge was hacked.
The boat was
Well,
hacked.
it's possible, and to Dee's point, somebody did the same thing on a Cybertruck, and Elon Musk shut it down, and then somebody else was complaining that that their 11-month-year-old daughter got locked in the Tesla because they shut it down. So it's like technology just is on a whole nother level. Our generation is dealing with something that I don't feel like other generations have ever dealt with before.
I
Mm.
personally think that Dee's right. There needs to be some sort of legislation and amendment to control the technology. I don't know for what, and I don't know what it should be. I'm just saying the Constitution there needs to be an amendment at this point because the Constitution wasn't planning for this, I feel.
Yeah, man, we're going down a path that no one knows how this ends. No one. There's never been a time in history where all the people could be replaced by machines. This has never happened before. We're literally at the forefront of history. And I think that the American people need to have a say so in how we move forward. I definitely believe that. Because it's going to impact us in more ways than you think.
My
I,
prediction is Donald Trump is going to negotiate the deal and he's going to use this to his advantage.
I
That's what I
actually
predict.
remember, I think it was Purdue or somebody that Trump was talking to in 2016 when they said they was going to replace all their workers with robots if Hillary Clinton got elected. So I'm actually shocked because y'all Republicans, I would think y'all would be like, no, like a business owner, capitalism, they should be able to do whatever they want. I
No,
think,
we're up for the little man. The
We're
Republican Party
Americans
today.
first, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, I'm sure they're gonna say, okay, let the companies do whatever they want. Forget the employees. Like if you, because the first people I think will be replaced. Because I've seen the hamburger maker that McDonald's have. I think they're gonna be the first people. I think the first people you gonna see is your Big Mac getting made by a robot and nobody's in there. Because when I go to Checkers now, I don't know if y'all been to Checkers. When you go to Checkers and you pull up, you don't talk to a person that's in there. You talk to a robot. And
Yeah,
then you
correct.
come up, yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
True.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
what was going on, man. I didn't know it
exactly,
was a
exactly.
robot. I said, what's going on?
So I think they're gonna be the first to go. I think fast food people gonna be the first people to go.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, let us know what you think in the chat. Is the Eastern Border Longshoremen strike going to impact the election? What legislation should our politicians put in place? What do you guys think about automation? Gray, what's your closing words?
like, share, subscribe. What about you, D?
If you guys made it this far, thanks for sticking around. And I urge you to go get you a few supplies. It's better to not have. I mean, to not need them and have them than to need them and not have them. So go get them. Some snacks, some toilet paper, water, whatever you might need. You should probably go grab it now, just in case.
Medication.
Yeah, just in case.
For sure. Always vote.
Always vote.
Always vote. Oh, wait, one more thing. Tomorrow night we're going to be on Dana with the Data
Oh yeah,
during the live stream for the VP debate. VP Walls or future VP Walls or future VP Vance will be debating. So please check us out.
Okay.
for sure.